Hello everybody, welcome back to the United Way for the Premier League Roundup show. Another weekend, another exciting weekend of football is finished. The end of the season gets only closer. Obviously, if Manchester United, we still have like 6 games left or so, but a lot of interesting games. We had the Saturday morning kickoff between Palace and West Ham. Then we moved into the 3 p.m. kickoffs. Brighton Wolves, Brentford, Nottingham Forest. 2 interesting games there. Then we looked into Sunday's games when we had Manchester United against Villa, Fulham against Man City, and Leeds against Bournemouth. And then obviously Newcastle, Southampton. And then the big game, which I'm going to just say here, I thought was the game of the weekend for me. I didn't watch it, but I watched the highlights, Liverpool and Tottenham. So again, a lot of games, a lot of interesting games, a lot of interesting talking points. Obviously Manchester United. Obviously there was no watch along for that game because I was actually out. But I was keeping up to date as I do. There will be a watch along for Thursday's game against Brighton, which is going to be an interesting game. Brighton are in decent form. Yeah. We beat them at Wembley. They beat us at Old Trafford in the Premier League. So, it's going to be interesting. I just want to think anything to talk about. Obviously, the ownership news. If you want to know anything about that, let us know in the comments. But there's nothing really much to update you about. Obviously, I seen today that Jim Ratcliffe is in pole position. Do I want Ratcliffe to buy the club? Not anymore. I want Qatar. I think the reason is, for obvious reasons why I want Qatar, I don't want Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe wants to have the Glazers to still have a bit of a say. And Qatar want to have a lot of money and they want to buy the whole club, not 50%, not 70%. They want to buy 100% of the club. So, for me, I can't be having Jim Ratcliffe buying that club. I know people are like, yeah, well, Qatar are promising you this, and how do you know that, if you do succeed and take charge, how do you know that they're actually going to do those things when they're in charge? Because the Glazers have promised us in the past things and we haven't got them, but that's the Glazers. When the Glazers promise anything now, you're just like, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But again, obviously there's another game tonight, which is going to be an interesting game, actually. Leicester and Everton. It's going to be a really interesting one. 2 teams trying to survive in the Premier League. Who would have thought I'd be saying Leicester trying to survive in the Premier League? They literally won a title a few years back, and now they're trying to stay up. So it'd be weird to see Leicester get relegated. But obviously Brendan Rodgers left. Dean Smith, he's the new interim manager. I think not sure he's interim, but he's the new manager as now. When you look at Leicester, who could they bring in? Could you look at Jesse Marsh, Steven Gerrard? No disrespect, brilliant player, but as a manager, I think you're looking at relegation if you're already bringing in Steven Gerrard. I can't believe I just get Steven Gerrard a compliment, but he was a good player. He was a good player. We have to give it to him. Obviously, he didn't win a Premier League, but he won Champions Leagues and all that. Who could Leicester get? Like, if Dean Smith is their interim manager, who could they get? Could they look at Graham Potter? Would Graham Potter be an interesting appointment? He done fairly well at Brighton. Left Brighton, went to Chelsea and didn't do well. At Chelsea, I think Chelsea is just a hard job to do. It doesn't matter how good you are as a coach. But I actually think Graham Potter will be a decent appointment for Leicester. I really, really do. Look at Claudio Ranieri. Barely anyone rated Ranieri. Won a title. People were like, I rate this guy. Then Leicester went in a bit of dipped form. So Leicester are a weird team. They were competing for Europe like a season or two ago. And now they're competing to stay alive. So Leicester are just a weird team. If they get relegated, it'll be big. They have players like Tielemans, Barnes, Jamie Vardy. I wouldn't be getting him. I think he's not as good as he used to be. But still, who else is in there? James Maddison. They have decent players like Ndidi. They have decent players. So I'm sure if Leicester did look down the relegation, the relegation barrel or battle, whatever you want to call it. They could lose about 3 or 4, maybe five players, but it is going to be interesting. I mean, obviously this is a Premier League Roundup show, so we're going to be talking about every team, not just Manchester United, every team that played this weekend, and my opinions on them. All neutral as well. I mean, who else is there that you could be looking into? You could be looking at, Chelsea, for example. They're playing Arsenal tomorrow, I think, which I think Arsenal are going to beat them. I think Arsenal have to kick on now if they want to win that title, which I can't see them winning it now, especially after the defeat last Wednesday to Man City. I honestly think that was the title decider for me. I know some Arsenal fans would be, again, in fairness, a few decent Arsenal fans have kind of said, yeah, we're not going to win it now, but some have also said, no, it's not over. I'm not getting wrong, it's not over till it's over. City, all Arsenal need is City to draw a game or lose some silly game. Because trust me, in a title race, that can happen. In a title race, them kind of things can happen. You can slip up. I know some would say, yeah, the pressure doesn't really get to Man City, but if it gets to the business end, Pep starts to overthink, because we've witnessed in the past when Pep overthinks, he loses. When Pep overthinks, he loses. Do I think City will slip up? No, but it is an interesting title race. It really, really is an interesting title race, and I would have loved it. Like, just imagine if Man City and Arsenal, they played each other on the last day of the Premier League. That'd be brilliant. I'd love that. I'd really love that. It'd be an interesting watch. But I just think Arsenal have a tough run of games. They have a tougher run of games more than City do. City have a decent few teams in there, but I mean, Arsenal still have to go to Newcastle away, which we were there. We lost 2-0. Tottenham went there, lost 6-1. City went there, drew 3-3. So going away to St James's Park is not easy. Trust me, as I said, we lost there. So if you're a big team and you have all these players and you're travelling to St James's Park with all these top class ballers or whatever you want to call them, trust me, it's not an easy one, because Eddie Howe has done a brilliant job there. Ever since they kind of have that new ownership, they have improved a lot. So I actually think Newcastle and Manchester United are going to the Champions League next season. I mean, imagine that Newcastle make Champions League football, and the thing that scares me as a Manchester United fan, right? They haven't spent big yet. Like, they haven't spent big. The players they brought in have been brilliant. Guimaraes, Botman, Nick Pope, for example, Trippier, Dan Bourne. I mean, I never thought that Dan Bourne would do a good job at right back. Who else is there? Isak. I mean, I could go on and on and on, and the players Eddie Howe's brought in himself have been pretty decent. Like, you have to give them credit. And that's what scares me, because they haven't spent big yet. They haven't spent big, and they will. And where will they be competing for next season? Will they be competing for titles? I'm trying to fix this hoodie of mine because it's really annoying. Will they be competing for titles? I can't see them. But if they bring in a big boy player, I mean, people are like, the thing is, Eddie Howe's a weird coach. He's a weird coach. He bring in this player that you wouldn't know about and he'd do well. I mean, obviously they got Anthony Gordon as well in the January transfer window. So it is interesting. And I actually do think Newcastle are doing a lot better than I expected them to do this season. A lot better. I mean, we played them in the Carabao Cup final, and yeah, the scoreline might have looked like we breezed through, 2-0, but it wasn't. It really, really wasn't. We sat back in the second half, as you expect. We soaked up the pressure. We done well, but Newcastle, let's just say, they don't sit back, and they're not afraid to. They're not afraid to take you on. And as I said, if they finish top 4, the bonuses the players will get from that, and the club itself. Newcastle are just on a different level. Like, they were literally, again, Newcastle were literally fighting for their lives last season. Finished mid-table, obviously, when they brought in Eddie Howe. So Eddie Howe did a brilliant job. Like, Eddie Howe went from managing Bournemouth to getting the sack. and then Newcastle are doing fairly well. So you have to give them credit. You have to give them credit. Like, you have to give credit to Aston Villa. You have to give credit to Brighton especially, and you have to give credit to Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle. Who else is in there? I mean, Fulham are doing fairly decent this season, but you know what I'm trying to say? They're not competing for Europe. Brighton are, Newcastle are, Aston Villa are. That's three teams that some would say would finish mid-table and Euro time. So they are doing fairly well. And next season is going to be an exciting season for a lot of teams. You know, Arsenal, Manchester United, three teams I was just mentioned there: Brighton, Newcastle, and Brighton, Newcastle, and I feel like Aston Villa. Fulham seems safe enough. I mean, how will Chelsea do next season? Will they kick on? Will they really up their Will they bring in a Pochettino? I mean, that Tottenham and Chelsea, they literally recycle the same managers. So you know that's them. But you know, I mean, Chelsea have the players too. Chelsea have decent players, you know, but I don't know. I mean, people are talking about a relegation battle. But listen, I think we'll jump into this show. We'll jump into the first game, which I didn't. Again, I watched the last 10 minutes. Put up on the screen there. There we go. So we have Selhurst Park, 12:30, first game of the weekend. Palace. I mean, 7-goal thriller. What a game. Really, really, what a game. I mean, fair play. You know, I mean, again, I just want to say it as well, actually. Look at Palace with Vieira. Look at Palace with Patrick Vieira. Last season he done well. I mean, they were trying to fight for their lives. So, I mean, Roy Hodgson is doing a decent job since he's came in as Crystal Palace manager. I mean, I'm just looking at it here. Obviously, as I said, finished 4-3. Thomas Souček got that the first goal in the 9th minute. Then Andre Ayew got the equaliser in the 15th minute, so he didn't hold on for long. Then Zaha decided to put them 2-1 up. And then Schlupp put them 3-1 up. Then Antonio got one as well, so that kind of went 3-2. Then Eze got the penalty, which made them 4-2 up. And then Aguerd got the third goal. So 7-goal thriller. You know, Ayew, Zaha, Schlupp, and Eze getting the goal for Palace. Souček, Antonio, and Aguerd, whatever you pronounce his name, got the 3 goals for West Ham. And I mean, listen, I'm sure people probably would have backed West Ham to win it. I'm sure people probably would have backed, maybe not backed, but predicted a 1-1 draw or 2-2 or 0-0. I mean, Palace, as I said, Palace have decent players. You know, I think they're going to survive. I mean, I think they're above Chelsea. So, I mean, you know, you look at the Palace team, you know, Zaha, Adise, Eze. Eze is a decent young player, actually. Eze is very good. You have Guehi, who's a decent defender. You know, then you have Edouard on the bench. You know, they have Sambi Lokonga on loan, Matete. You know, Palace do. I mean, they don't have any outstanding players. Like, you don't have, like, you know, oh no, they have, buddy, I don't know, Gareth Bale on the team or something like that. But you know, they still have a decent team. Like, nearly every season, they're probably trying to survive, and they do survive. They do survive because they're probably saying to themselves, "Listen, we've been in this situation many a time. We know how to do it." I mean, and they have Roy Hodgson as coach. Roy Hodgson, who I think he was manager when Watford got relegated. I'm not too sure. Could be wrong, but I mean, we played them at Selhurst Park and we drew 1-1 with them. They got a late free kick. Brilliant free kick, by the way. I absolutely hate Elise, who got it, who scored it, but as I say, you have to give them credit where credit's due. And again, what's going on here? But again, I am predict. I mean, these two teams will survive. These two teams will survive. I cannot see these two teams getting relegated. I mean, you look at the table here. You look at the table, and I actually just want to throw the table up. Actually, well, not throw it up, but I want to read it out. Where Palace and West Ham are standing at the moment. I'm just going to leave that up there while I get the table up, just because we're not going to move away from it. Actually, what I might do, actually, hold on. We'll do this. We'll do that. So, we have Crystal Palace, who are 11th place with 40 points. And then we have West Ham, who are 15th with 34 points. So, by all means, West Ham are not safe. Do I think they'll get relegated? I actually don't. I really, really don't. I mean, I'm just looking at this Leicester and everything game tonight. I might actually tune in and watch it because it's going to be interesting. Two teams who are in the relegation zone. Leicester 18th with 29 points. Everton 19th with 28 points. Pointing the difference. A win for either side would, get them out of the relegation zone. I think a draw is all Leicester needs to get out of the relegation zone. I wouldn't be surprised if Everton somehow beat them. If it's at Goodison Park, I'm going to back Everton to beat them. If it's at, no, it's at. Yeah, I mean, probably has a draw right all over them. But anyways, I don't think West Ham or Palace will get relegated. I mean, you look at the West Ham team in general. Antonio, Bowen, Declan Rice. If they get relegated, you're going to have teams like Manchester United, Manchester City, if you want, Chelsea, Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle throw themselves in there. He would probably try and go in and get Declan Rice. He is decent, but David Moyes is a bit greedy, in my opinion. And this has come from a Manchester United fan who, David Moyes was a Manchester United coach. Remember, he replaced Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, yeah, they have Souček, Declan Rice, Fornals, Paqueta, Bowen, Antonio. They're decent, they are decent players, to be fair. You can have Agard, Zuma, Kufal if you want. They have decent players, and if they do get relegated, you could see a few of those depart. I don't think you'd see them all depart, but Bowen might look for a move. Declan Rice might look for a move. Souček, I think it'll stay. Antonio, probably look for the move. But I don't think they get relegated. I mean, they have such a brilliant stadium. In general, I cannot see them get relegated. But listen, that was the 12:30 kickoff. Brilliant game. I'm predicting these two teams to stay alive, but it won't be tight. It won't be easy. Sorry, it won't be easy. But yeah, so let's take that one out of the Yoki Bob. So let's move on to the Amex Stadium. The 3:00 kickoff. I mean, what a bounce back from Wolves, by the way. After losing 3-1 against Nottingham Forest midweek away, they bounced back and beat a Wolves team under Julian Lopetegui. And they slapped the Wolves 6-0. Undav got 2 goals. Undav and Pascal Gross got a brace. Actually, no. 3 players got a brace. Undav, Gross, and Daniel Welbeck. That's a decent bounce back. From losing an FA Cup semi-final on penalties isn't easy to take, I'm sure, as a player. And then losing against Forest, so they probably thought, is this a pattern here? Are we going to see ourselves losing 5 consecutive games on the road? To just bounce back like that at the Amex Stadium and beat Wolves, like, beat Wolves 6-0. That's a brilliant. That's just brilliant. I mean, and also look at our bench. Look at this. Listen to this for the bench. Right? This is a team that beat them 6. This is a team that won 6-0. This is how good they did. This is decent depth. McAllister was on the bench. Matoma was on the bench. Casado was on the bench. And Sanchez, the goalkeeper, was on the bench. And then their team still looks solid. Enkiso, Youngdav, Marsh, Danny Welbeck, Gilmore, Gross, Feltman, Webster, Dunk, Estupinian, Steele and goal. 4-2-3-1 formation. We play these on Thursday. And no, it's not going to be an easy game. And no, we're not going to get slapped. But no, I don't think we'll lose. Obviously, I'll give you a prediction for the preview, but it's going to be such a tight game. Away at the Amex. You do have to give credit though. You do have to give credit to such a team. I mean, you look at the Wolves team who they started 4-4-2. Sa in goal, Semedo, Dawson, Kilman, Bueno. Midfield, then you have 4 midfielders. 4 across the midfield. Mateus Nunes, Lamina, Neves, Gomez. Up top, Diego Costa and Pedro Neto. Not the strongest of teams, but with the team that Brighton started, you thought they would have got them run for their money and maybe take a point, just get a point out of it. I mean, listen, if Manchester United go there on Thursday and beat them, it won't be a big shock because Ten Hag knows, and it's a repeat of the semi-final. So that win for Brighton was a big win. It's a big win, and it's a win that it's a win that that should give it's like that should give us a bit of confidence now. That should maybe push us on to keep fighting for a European spot. But Brighton, what a win. 6-0 against Wolves. Wolves aren't the best team in the world, but with the team that Brighton started, I seen people going mental over the team that Brighton started. They were like, we'd be lucky if we win this game. I'll take a draw at the moment. I'll take this. I'll take that. What the hell is Desirabi doing? Why is he starting this team? They just went and scored 6 goals like it was absolutely nothing. I mean, I actually think Brighton are decent. Like people, someone commented on the preview there the other day, saying that, give Brighton credit. I literally think I think every time I mention Brighton or whoever's on with me or whoever's doing one of these shows, when Brighton's mentioned, you have to give them credit. Their scouting is unbelievable. Listen to this. They lost over the last season. They've lost Trossard. They've lost Ben White, Bourne. Oh my God, Cucurella, Graham Potter. Mopay. They've lost decent players. Basuma, and still they just bring in players like it's nothing. Players that you barely hear of, and they just go and play better than they did last season. Brighton are just they're so good, and I actually like to see them finish. If it's a Conference League spot or Europa League spot, if they finish in the Champions League, that'd be huge, but that would be probably we'd fall out. So that's all I'm saying. I don't like to see them finish in the Champions League. But if they finish in the Europa League spot or a Conference League spot, that's huge. And I hope they do. No, I think they deserve it. I think they're doing. It's like there's Arabi as well. Like they brought him in, barely heard of the fella in my life, and I probably gave him credit ever since he's arrived. So. I mean, I'm just looking at the table here. They're 8th in the league with 52 points, and they have Aston Villa are 7th, but Brighton have 3 games in hand, and over Aston Villa, and they also have 3 games in hand over Tottenham and 2 games in hand over Liverpool, who are the 3 teams that are above them. So Brighton can, and I'm sure they probably will, finish in the European spot. That'd be just brilliant. That'd be just brilliant. I mean, Brighton and Newcastle, what a turnaround. Obviously, Newcastle have a lot more money than Brighton, but and then obviously they beat a Wolves team who are looking to survive themselves, who are 14th place with 37 points, who are two. That's just mad. Is it like I'm literally sitting here saying Brighton who are trying to survive with 37 points, and then I look up to 12th place Chelsea who are only 2 points ahead of Wolves. I don't think they get relegated, but come on Chelsea. But yeah, Brighton so far this season have been immense, and as I said, we played them on Thursday at the Amex. I wish it was Old Trafford because I'd be a lot more confident, but it's not going to be an easy game. You just know it's not going to be an easy game. But yeah, let's go over to the Gtech Community Stadium. Gtech or Gtech, whatever way you pronounce the name. Community Stadium. Brentford 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Another heartbreak. You know, Nottingham Forest went 1-0 up, and Elo getting the goal. Then Brighton got 2 goals in the last 10-15 minutes. Even Tony got the goal in the 82nd minute to equalise. And then Da Silva got the goal in the 94th minute to basically, not sink Forest, but to basically worry them or say, listen here, you're going to have to do a lot more, mate, to be competing. I mean, Nottingham Forest, I'm predicting them to get relegated. I think they will. I think them and maybe Leicester. I'd love to say them and Chelsea, but I think Forest are going to be getting relegated. I mean, Steve Cooper, they were doing brilliant last season, and then they seem like to be going straight back down. The players he signed were a bit weird, but you have to give them credit. You have to give Brentford credit as well this season. I mean, I'm just trying to get the table up here. If I can find it. But again, interesting weekend of football. Right. Man United, Manchester United. Right, so we have the table up here, and let us know how your team did on the weekend. Actually, we will talk about your team soon. Just let us know who you support. So we have Brentford, who are 9th in the league with 50 points. And then we have Nottingham Forest, who are 17th in the league with 30 points. So I do think Nottingham Forest will get relegated. I do think Leicester City. I think Southampton are getting relegated for me. Such a poor season. Really, really such a poor season. They still have a chance, but 4 games left, and the 2 teams above them who have 2 games of a game in hand. So it is interesting. But I did my thing yesterday. I just cannot see everything getting relegated. I can see them just about doing what they did last season, clinch it. But I do think it'll be. I think Leeds will get relegated. So poor. And we'll talk about why when we get to them. But that has been the game between Brentford and Forest at Gtech Community Stadium. Now let's move on to the last game. So that was 4 games. That was the last game of. That was the last 3:00 game, I think, was it? It was. So let's move on to the. I actually knew I was gonna forget to put up a bloody thing on the current thing. Now I can't find the team. I want to move on. I want to move on. I want to move on. Don't know why. I actually don't know why I done that. I want to put the edit for the Leeds Bournemouth game. It did finish 4-1 to Bournemouth. Leeds just seem to be getting slapped left, right, and centre. I think Palace beat them 5-1. Liverpool beat them 6-1. I think they had a game drawn. They had another game. I'm not sure if they won that, but Leeds just seem. I mean, ever since he sacked Jesse Marsh, they seem to be all over the place. Really, really do seem to be all over the place. And don't get it wrong, as a Manchester United fan, you know, Leeds, Man United, always been a bit of hate between the two teams, but you'd expect them to show some sort of fight. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like, will Leeds get relegated? You'd be mad if they do. You'd be mad if they, I mean, everything's open this season. But please hit that subscribe button as well if you're new and give it a like. Big show coming soon with a certain someone, so hopefully we can get an update. But listen, Vitality Stadium finished AFC Bournemouth 4, Leeds United 1. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Leeds and Bournemouth didn't expect that. I'm sure Bournemouth loved every minute of it, and I'm just making sure. So, I mean, 4 goals. The 4 goals Bournemouth got were from Lerma got a brace, then Solanke got a goal in the 63rd minute, and then Semenyo got a goal in injury time, and then Bamford was the only man who got the goal for Leeds. Do I think Leeds are going relegated? The way they're going, yes. The way they're going, I think they get relegated. I think Leeds are going relegated. I mean, you know, if you're performing like this with a manager who looks like he doesn't know what he's fucking doing, surely the fans are already asking questions about you. I mean, I was seeing a TikTok the other day, and it was Leeds saying, "Why did we sack? What was the point of sacking Jesse Marsh? He was doing a better job than the coach we have now." I mean, just looking at the table here, Bournemouth are 13th with 29 points. Leeds are 16th with 30 points. So it's funny. The title race is still reasonably tight. The top 4 race is a bit all over the place. But 4-1, Bournemouth, brilliant win. I think Bournemouth will survive, but I'm just going to say Southampton, Nottingham Forest, and Leeds. That's what I'm saying. I think I just can't see everything getting relegated. Could be wrong. But listen, let's go to the mighty Manchester United. Where they beat Old Trafford 1-0. They beat Aston Villa, a decent Aston Villa team, by 1 goal to nil. Bruno got the goal in the 39th minute, and I did watch the first half. As I said, there wasn't a watch long for the game because I was out first, so. But you know, it was interesting. We played well. We did play well. Bruno done well. Everyone done well. The whole 11 done well. I mean, we played well in the second half, which I know shocked her. I mean, you look at Manchester United this season at Old Trafford. We've only lost 2 games at Old Trafford this season. One against Brighton at the start of the season, and the other against Sociedad when it was 1-0. Which, yes, we did get cheated on in that game because Sociedad got a stupid penalty. I mean, it's interesting to see. I mean, I just want to go through the the league table here, where Manchester United and Aston Villa remain, because Unai Emery, he's done a decent job since he's came in. He's done a decent job since he's came in. I think we're the only team to stop them from scoring. We're the only team to stop them. I think ever since Unai Emery came in, they've scored goals in every single match. His first game was against us. He beat us. We decided, let's end his unbeaten streak at Old Trafford. We're Manchester United are fourth in the league with 63 points, while Aston Villa are seventh with 54 points. We remain so beautiful to look at. Anyways, you remain 7 points ahead of Liverpool, and we have a game in hand. And we have a game in hand ahead of Newcastle as well. So if we win our game in hand, we can go third place. I think we're making top four. I cannot see us slipping it up. Villa, decent team. Brighton, decent team. Brighton, Aston Villa, they have the players. Unai Emery has given them a kick up the backside, and we were just too strong for them on the day. Casemiro seemed to be back to his usual self, which was nice to see. But let's go to the other game, where it finished 3-1 at St James's Park between Newcastle and Southampton. Just want to go through the goal scorers here. So Callum Wilson got a brace. Theo Walcott got an own goal, so he put the third goal in. And Armstrong got the consolation, you could say, for Southampton. So, yeah, I expected Southampton to win, Southampton to lose that game. As I said about the league table there, like Newcastle third place with 65 points, who have played a game more than Manchester United. Southampton, who are rock bottom, 20th place with 24 points, who have played the same amount of games as Nottingham Forest and Leeds, who are competing for the relegation. Not competing, we're trying to survive. Sorry, you don't want to compete. So I actually think Newcastle and Manchester United are going to make top four this season. Really, really good. So yeah, big up. But let's move on to the other game actually between Manchester City against Fulham. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Manchester City against Fulham at Craven Cottage, another place that let's say it's not an easy place to go to. Can't even get it up now on my phone. Haaland obviously scored for them as you'd expect. Haaland got a penalty in the third minute. Then Vinicius got the equaliser, but then Julian Alvarez put them 2-1 up. So again, didn't seem like it was an easy game at all. We travelled there the last game before the World Cup, and Garnacho. Congratulations to Alejandro Garnacho, by the way. He's going to be a dad, extended his contract. Everything's going well for that man. He got new teeth as well. Brilliant. But it's not an easy place to go to. And, small stadium. Fulham are 10th in the league with 45 points. City are top with 76 points. So the quality obviously showed. But, fair play. Not fair play, because I hate Man City. I don't want to see them win the title, but fairness, some people are saying, yeah, but do you really want to see Arsenal win the title before us? Makes me think. But that was the game that was yesterday's game. But again, this game I'm looking forward to talking about it, because I didn't get to watch it. But what a game. I watched the highlights. Liverpool 4, but it was at Anfield. Both teams coming into this game looking for a bit of a win. Liverpool 4, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Liverpool, let's go through it again. So Curtis Jones so Curtis Jones and Luis Diaz got 2 goals in 10 minutes. Got the 2 goals to Liverpool in 10 minutes. Then Salah scored from the penalty spot. So Liverpool went 3-0 up. I'm sure they were thinking, hold on a sec, we could be looking at a Manchester United all over again, and they beat us 7-0. Then Harry Kane got the goal to put them back in it, which pulled it back to 3-1. Then Heung-min Son got the second goal, and then Richarlison. Oh, Richarlison, mate, you absolute donkey. Got the equalising goal in the 93rd minute, took off his shirt, went absolutely crazy. He got his first goal for Tottenham in the Premier League. A minute later, Jota, goal. 4-3. Two teams looking to make Champions League, looking to get a Champions League spot for next season. I mean, Tottenham came back from 3 goals down at Anfield. That is brilliant. That's brilliant. They came back from two games where they looked down and out, and they came back. And obviously they got a draw against us, but 2 games that looked like there was no time to fight. There was no time to fight. But no, I mean, what a game! What a bloody game! I watched the highlights later on. I was just like, fucking hell, how? I mean, Liverpool are 5th place with 56 points. Tottenham are 6th with 54 points. So it's going to be interesting, and I hope the both of these teams don't make European football next season. But interesting game, really interesting game. But yeah, Liverpool seem to be looking. If Liverpool win their remaining games, they could maybe be in there, but I just don't think so. Listen, that's been a Premier League Roundup show. A bit of a quick one. Thanks everybody for watching. Please like, comment, hit that subscribe button, follow all the socials, links in the description if you want the edit there. Special show coming up fairly very soon, hopefully. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And yeah, be chill in a bit. Have a good one.